Let's organize my entire vintage Essie collection from the 1980s to the millennium. I have 245 of the first 391 released, so this will be a very long video. If you're watching on TikTok, this may be in parts. I'm voicing over as I go, so it beats me how long this will take. We'll probably have a few cat intermissions. So the plan is to show you every single polish, and we'll be putting them into my IKEA Helmer drawers numerically. I think it will take 3 drawers at the least, possibly 4, since I want some space for filling in numerical gaps as I find more vintage Essie. People often ask how I store my polish and if it takes up much space. I film and store everything in a small corner of my finished basement. The basement is about 2,000 square feet and I'm only using 80, so my collection has some room to grow down here. In 2020, we bought a run-down but once grand home from 1908, and the first thing I did was fix up this basement. And I'm honestly so proud of myself, so I'll show you some before and afters. The people who lived here were disgusting and locked their animals down here, so the old asbestos flooring was saturated with animal waste and it had to be removed. But once all that came out, it stopped reeking and I put fresh vinyl tiles down and painted. It made a huge difference at the expense of one broken nail and about $500. I actually lived down here for a year or so while I painstakingly restored the historic flooring and walls, which were also covered in poo. But you guys didn't come here for that, so let's get back on track. Before we get into it, I would like to mention that 1 through 127 are not in order of release, but were shades that existed around 1987 and earlier when they alphabetically ordered and numbered them. They also switched to the square bottle in 1987, so although Essie launched in 81, I've never seen a pre-1987 bottle. I have no clue what they even looked like, so if you remember them or have one, please reach out. So if you have any Essie not mentioned today, I'd love to have a look, and if you're willing to let go of them, even better. Here I'm just lining my drawer with non-slip plastic. Without it, the bottles slide around too much. I ordered it on eBay, but it came with Shein packaging, so it was drop shipped. With my drawer ready, let's talk polish. Starting with number 2, Applesauce, a creme formula mauve pink. There will be a lot of reds and pinks until we get to the mid-90s. This one came from Japan. The US bottles didn't have an Essie label on the upright parts of the glass until the late 2000s, I think. This is number 3, Autumn Leaves, a russet-toned creme formula red, also from Japan. This is number 4, Azalea, a saturated creme medium pink. Number 5, Baby's Breath. I believe this is still in their core line of shades. It's an off-white, nothing revolutionary, but it has stuck around. Number 7, Birthday Suit, a fleshy-toned beige. Don't worry about the yellow on the bottom, it just needs a blend. For whatever reason, they brought this back for a minute in 2016 when they relaunched a bunch of old shades. Number 8, Bittersweet Mauve, another pinky mauve creme. They loved warm mauves in the 80s. Number 9 is Black Cherry, and yes, they did consider this to be a dark red in the 80s. It's a creme formula, but it does have some superfine shimmer in it. Number 10 is Blanc, Essie's whitest white, still in production today. It was popular for French tips. 12 is Bordeaux, Essie's darkest red from the 80s, and a jelly. It's a lot lighter than modern Bordeaux, which they darkened for modern tastes. 13 is Boysenberry, a berry creme with a tiny bit of micro shimmer. It was privately labeled for a department store. Essie left the glass clear of their logo in the US in the 80s and 90s for private labeling. Salons and stores had the option of putting their own name on the bottle. Now that we have a batch of 10, I'm going to number them so I don't have to turn over the bottles if I'm looking for something, and this way they also stay in order in the drawers. Now let's move on to the next batch of 10. Number 15, California Coral, is another I think you can still find rather easily. If exposed to heat though, the vintage one will morph towards fuchsia. 19 is Cherry Bomb, a medium tone red creme. 20 is Cherry Pie. It's similar to the last, but a little less blue leaning. In other words, it's slightly warm toned. Number 24 is Coral Reef, which isn't that different from California Coral, maybe just a touch darker. Number 26 is Cream Puff, a fleshy beige creme. I'm not big on nudes, but this one might work on me. 28 is Demurely Mauve, and you might not consider this a mauve, but warm orangey mauves were definitely a thing in the 80s. This bottle of dots doesn't have a number, so this bottle is from right around the bottle change in 1987. When they did adopt numbers though, it became number 29. 30 is Double Trouble, which references a 1984 sitcom. It's a perfect, warm leading pink. 31 is Dusty Mauve. I'd call it a latte brown, but if you Google Dusty Mauve, this color comes right up. 33 is 18 Carat, Essie's first gold. I'm not sure why they put carrot the vegetable rather than carrot with a K. Now we're into the Fs, starting with number 36, Fawn. This one doesn't have a label, but it did when I bought it, it just didn't arrive with one. It's a mauvey pink with a slight micro shimmer. This is an early no-number bottle of Fiesta. It would become number 37. The cap on this is degrading, but notice the top edge of the cap is a little less sharp and ever so slightly more narrow than the newer ones. 40 is Foxy Brown, and it is not and never has been brown. It's probably called that because it's a rich red with brown undertones. 41 is French Poppy, a bright pink creme. 42 is Garnet. It's a darker blue-red that was discontinued after nearly a 40-year run. 43 is Geranium, a bright orange-leaning red that is still available today. 44 is Glorious Glow, which is a sheer with a pink flash. This likely was used to make a French manicure a little more interesting. 45 Good and Plenty is the exact color of its candy namesake. 50 is Honey Bun, a red with brown undertones and a gold micro shimmer. 52 is Huckleberry, an almost red berry pink creme. It sort of reminds me of Essie's Watermelon. The colors have been predominantly red and pink thus far, but I promise the colors will get a lot more interesting the further along we get. The 80s was just the most boring time for nail polish in my opinion, but it is interesting to follow a brand's color journey from its conception. Number 54, Jelly Apple, the shade that made Essie an overnight success after Joan Rivers wore it on The Tonight Show while hosting for Johnny Carson in 1983. This perfect apple red jelly formula polish was tragically discontinued a couple years ago, and I don't get why. 56 is Licorice, Essie's first black that is still available all these years later. 57 is Lilite, a light, cool-toned, pinky nude creme. 58 is Lily Langtree, such a perfect light pink creme. I also love the name, a reference to a Victorian-era socialite. 60 is Luscious Lilac. This one seems to have faded. It was likely once a very soft pink, but I don't have an early enough color chart to confirm my suspicions. 61 is Magenta Flambe, an aptly named bright pink. 63 is Marshmallow, a classic Essie shade that is still available, last I checked anyways. Number 66 is Melon Colada, a beautiful, almost red, warm coral creme. 67 is Mary Berry, a bright berry shade that straddles the line between pink and red. 72 is Orange Squeeze, a hot orange that can read as a very warm red. I'm glad to have this since Essie didn't really do many oranges back in the day. Before I forget it, keep a little list of the ones you'd like to see swatched and then leave them in the comments. This pansy doesn't have a number, but it would be assigned as number 74 later. It's very much a bubblegum pink. 75 is Parisian Pink, another that was previously a very light French manicure pink. 76 is Peach Daiquiri, a peachy pink coral that is still in Essie's core collection today. 78 Peaches and Cream is a beautiful pastel peach creme. 79 is Pearly White, a very frosty white shimmer. 82 Pink Lemonade is a pearly light pink shimmer. It's a known fader, but this one is still going strong. 85 Precious Pink is much like Parisian Pink in that it has likely faded. 87 Pumpkin Pie is oddly named, but there's no way this was ever Pumpkin Pie Orange, but it's possible that it was once bright orange, since orange pigments can morph to pink. It's not on any of my color charts though, so I can't know for sure. 89 is Raspberry, a very accurately named dark berry pink. And if you thought we might escape reds for a minute, you were mistaken. 90 is Really Red, a true neutral red, not too blue and not too orange. Get ready for a bunch of reds in our next batch of 10, since we're heading into more 80s shades starting with the letter R. This first one is 92 Redford Red, a mid-tone red creme. It doesn't lean warm or cool, it's right in the middle. Number 93 is Red Hots, a red that is supposed to match its hot candy namesake. Next up is 95 Red Snapper. If I had number 94, it would be the shade Red Pepper. Red Snapper is a beautiful bright red with a little more warmth than the last two. Number 97 is Romantic Rose. It's a pink-leaning red with the tiniest bit of micro shimmer to it. 98 is Rose Garden, a deep pink creme. This is another privately labeled bottle. 101 is Sammy Cider. Essie, the founder, named this after her sister, sort of. Sammy Cider is supposed to rhyme with her sister's name, according to an early 90s newspaper article. 102 Santa Fe Mauve is a pinky mauve creme with a similarly colored micro shimmer embedded within. 104 Scarlett O'Hara references the classic Gone with the Wind movie. It's a deep red, much like the red velvet dress worn by Vivian Leigh in the movie. 112 Sugar and Spice is a light peachy creme formula polish. 115 Tahitian is a gorgeous bright red jelly, much like Jelly Apple, but a little warmer. We're starting our next batch with 117 Tea Rose, a mauve pink creme. 119 Terracotta is just that, an earthy terracotta orange creme. 120 Tickled Pink is obviously completely faded. It's another one of those shades that was likely a very light pink. 122 Tokyo Rose is another one of those pink reds. This one has a very fine shimmer to it. Number 123 is Tropical Sunset, a coral hue. 126 Valentine Red is a beautiful red shimmer that has a jelly base. 127 is the original watermelon color formula. This is the last of the 1987 and earlier colors, though the next three start with C, so I wonder if they were tacked on at the end for some reason. 131 is Cactus Flower, a warm mauve pink creme. 133 is Candy Cane, a really fun candy pink creme. And the last of this batch is 134 Classic Coral. It's a victim of the morphing orange pigment. If we open it up, you can see some of that original color inside of the cap. Someday, hopefully, I'll find one that hasn't shifted to pink. With our next batch, we'll be in 1989. Just so you know, the years between 87 and 94 are my estimates based on shades I have benchmarks for, from magazines and newspapers, and some shades I can further estimate based on shades that they were trying to copy. But from here on, the releases are entirely chronological in order, rather than alphabetical, though collections themselves are in alphabetical arrangement. 147 is African Violet, a beautiful, natural sort of pink. 148 is Long-Stemmed Roses, a medium red with micro shimmer. 150 is Nectarine, a peachy coral creme. Number 151 is Think Pink. This is as Barbie pink as it gets. 155 Outrageous is a beautiful medium red creme. 158 is Winter Wonderland. It needs a good dose of thinner, but it's an off-white with shimmery sparks. 162 Ballet Slippers is our 1989 benchmark polish, famous for being Queen Liz's favorite. You might think it faded, but it was always more of a nude than a pink back in the day. 163 Chutney Chili is a deep paprika-like orange creme. 164 Creme Brulee is one of those sheer French manicure shades, one of my least favorite vintage Essies. 165 Fruit Sangria reminds me of 127 Watermelon, but it's on the pinker side, and has a tiny bit of that micro shimmer. With the next batches, we're moving into the 90s. You'll start to notice a larger variety with less color repeats. Since we've finished our first drawer, I think we've earned a cat intermission. This is Misha, and he's a very good boy. I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but he's such a goofy charmer, I can't help but love him the most. Him and his brother were bottle-fed orphans, so although they had a sad start, they're both extra sweet from being hand-reared. We call him our pizza delivery boy because his favorite toy is a giant stuffed slice of pizza that he carries up and down through the house while howling. The howling is really funny because it's muffled by the pizza in his mouth. But just look at his face. Who wouldn't love this cat? Now that Misha has had a snack, let's move on to our next drawer. 167 is Pretty in Pink, a very light pink creme. 168 is Great Balls of Fire, a red with a gold flash. The label says 68 instead of 168, but that's a printing error. 68 is Misty Mauve. 169 is Jam and Jelly. It's a jelly pink shimmer with a cool pink flash. 171 Razzie Dazzy was once a raspberry mauve color, but it has faded. It has a light pink flash. 175 is Fleur de Lis. The one with the larger label is older, and it is the original color. The other has morphed to a cool mauve, but you can see that later on they added a micro shimmer to it. 177 is Hot Fudge Sundae, a warm-toned chocolate brown creme. Next is 179 Majestic Mauve, a darker mauve creme. 180 is Orchid Oasis, a slightly lighter mauve creme. 181 is Russet, a russet red creme. I love these sorts of reds that aren't true reds. And the last of this grouping is 183 Sour Grapes, a raspberry shade with a frosty silver shimmer within. This one was never a purple, by the way. Essie's first purple wasn't until 1996. We're currently in 90 or 91 right now. With the next batch, we'll be in 92 and 93. These next two were Essie's first glitters. 198 is Golden Nuggets, a gold glitter. These were most often used as toppers. 199 is Silver Bullions, a silver glitter. They used the same glitter later in Starry Starry Night, one of Essie's more ultra-rare holy grails. 202 is Casa de Coral. It's a pinky coral creme. 209 Nutcracker Sweet is a light brown with micro shimmer. 212 Breezy Beach is a light beige with a pink shimmer flash. 213 Coconut Grove is a creamy off-white. 214 Dreamy Creamy is a light beige creme. 217 Splendido is a bright orange creme. 218 Brandy Alexander is a mauve with a scattered silver shimmer within. Since I'm a millennial, whenever I pick this up I think of that 2007 Feist song. And then the last of this batch is 219 French Toast, a rusty brown creme. I hope this video is interesting for the 5 people that are still watching. This is taking me so long to film and voice over as I go. But alas, the next one is 222 Hoedown Brown. Not a brown, but what some would consider a brown red. 223 Mauve Java is a very deep mauve creme, probably in a collection with the next two. 224 Pacific Rim Red is a hot red with a gorgeous gold shimmer flash. And then 225 Some Like It Hot is another hot red. I haven't swatched this one yet, but there's a chance it's a jelly, just judging how it's moving around in the bottle. 226 is Bashful Beige, a soft pearly beige. 229 is Delicacy. This one also has a pearl-like quality with very finely milled shimmer. 231 Like Linen is, well, like linen. I bet it has the same sort of formula as ballet slippers for a sheer, natural look. 232 is Bingo Cherry, a deep cherry red with a jelly formula. Number 233 is Cashmere, a light warm brown with a very soft shimmer within. 234 Country Road is an autumnal brown creme formula polish. It's my birthday today, guys. I'm somehow 35. It'll probably be another week or so to finish making this video, but I'm going for some Thai food tonight. Maybe I'll grab a drink. I'm keeping it low-key. Last night I celebrated at home with some friends. We did Chinese hot pot, one of my favorite social meals. But anyways, it's time for the next batch. 235 Hotsy Totsy is a medium cherry red creme. 237 Well Red is another medium red, slightly warmer than Hotsy Totsy. 238 Firecracker is a stunning warm-toned fire engine red. It really stands out compared to the last two reds. 239 Mango Bango is a beautiful orange, much like the orange color found on the skin of a ripe mango. 240 Mauving Along is a warm mauve, though not as warm as some we've looked at from the 80s. 241 Petunia is a frosty petal white. 243 Snowflakes has a little bit of shimmer to it, but it appears more like a creme. 244 Buckwheat is a light warm beige with a hint of fine shimmer to it. 245 Delightful Delilah is a light pinky beige creme. 247 Salmon Soufflé was, as far as I can tell, Essie's first yellow, released around 1994. It's my favorite Essie yellow of all time. Screw the butter yellow nail trend, I want salmon soufflé nails. Now, in the next batch, we're going to see a major nail trend shift after the release of Chanel Vamp in 1994. Things get really interesting compared to what we've seen so far. 248 Twinkle Toes is a neutral with an ethereal glow. When I bought this, it came with the cap completely twisted off. It was in a sealed, non-solvent sensitive plastic baggie, so I was able to let it dry and then peeled it off the plastic and put every bit of it back into the bottle, with almost no waste at all, adding fresh solvent to bring it back to the right consistency. If I was a content creator at the time, I would have filmed it. 249 Wicked is Essie's dupe of the iconic release of Chanel Vamp in 1994. Essie mainly followed popular releases of the time, since they were primarily in salons where it wasn't feasible financially for them to stock Chanel, so it was an affordable option. Wicked is still available today, though they have darkened it considerably since 1994. 250 Brownie Points is a brown red, on the bricky side. It has a very faint micro shimmer to it. 251 is Camel Hair. I suppose they were going for a camel brown. I have more to say about this one in a minute. 252 Chocolate Kisses is a reference to Hershey Kisses, which is why they likely changed the name to Chocolate Cakes later on. The more milk chocolate colored one is the original release color. Later they darkened it, as you can see with the newer labeled vintage bottle. 253 Lemon Meringue is a very pale yellow, their second yellow ever released. 254 Raisinnuts is a raisin red, probably a reaction to the popularity of Revlon's Raisin Rage, which I believe was out at the time. 255 Tiny Whiny is a dark red creme formula polish. 256 Sugarcane is a brown sugar color with a silver frost. And the last in this batch is 257 Wacky Wicked, a less plummy Wicked with a gold flash, a dupe of Chanel's Very Vamp polish. I wanted to mention that these 6 are a collection. I don't have an ad for it, but they're always in numerical and alphabetical order, going from B, Brownie Points, to T, Tiny Whiny. There's an obvious foodie theme, but then Camel Hair is a wild card. As far as I know, there's no snack named after camel hair. They should have gone with caramel instead of camel, in my opinion. As we continue, we'll notice fewer numerical gaps. The first of this batch is 258 Gladioli, a pale pink shimmer. 259 Intimate is an off-white frost shimmer. 260 L'Orangerie was my first vintage nail polish, a gorgeous warm red jelly formula. This will forever be a favorite. Next is 261 Stoplight Red, a medium red creme. This is my only bottle that has Essie's original ingredients listing. 262 Very Cranberry is a creme formula deep plum with a silvery micro shimmer within. 263 Whisper is a natural light pink creme. 265 It's Delicate is a creamy off-white. This one likely is on the sheer side for French manicures. 266 Long Island Iced Tea is a sheer yellow shimmer. 267 Nice Ice is another off-white frost. 268 Passion Fruit is a punchy pink creme. It has the tiniest bit of micro shimmer, but nothing that would be noticeable. 270 Carnival is a holographic glitter, though unfortunately the glitter in this one has mostly lost its holographic nature. Before we move on to number the caps, I just wanted to mention that this was the official Summer of '96 collection, minus the 2 that I'm missing. The next batch I show you is the unofficial Summer of '96 collection, the one that would be remembered. I don't have the ad for the Summer of '96 collection that I just showed you, but I have the ad within an ad in this January 1998 Nails magazine. I can very faintly read the words, "Here's Essie's Summer 1996 collection." I don't believe they ever made an ad for the other Summer of '96 collection that I'll show you in the next batch. 271 Barbuda Banana is a pastel yellow with a soft, finely milled shimmer glow. Most batches they made of this left out the shimmer. 272 Grenada Gray is a pastel gray. As far as I can tell, it was their first gray. 273 and 274 look nearly the same. Martinique Mauve is a sandy shade. This has not morphed in color. 274 Mystique Pink, I believe faded, like a lot of natural pinks do. The two are just too close for it to be intentional. 275 St. Barth's Blue is a pastel blue with that little bit of glow like the others. This is one of 3 blues in this collection, the first Essie blues, might I add. 276 St. Martin Mint is a pastel green with a glow, one of 2 greens in this collection, the first Essie greens. 277 Guadalupe Opal is a sheer shimmer with a pink opalescent glow. This is a private label salon bottle. 278 Saba Silver is a light silver with a pink flash. 279 St. Lucia Lilac is a pastel purple, Essie's first purple, and of course it has a soft glow. This one more often than not morphs to gray, so it's lucky to have an unchanged original. 280 Aruba Blue is a metallic cobalt blue, the second blue in this collection. I have a story about how this bottle saved my ass in Aruba, but I'll save that for another time. This color is the one that stayed around the longest, though it has now been discontinued in the US. You can still find it overseas. 282 Dominica Green is the last in this collection, a deep shimmer green, and it's the most sought after. I'm wearing this right now, although I'm a week into this manicure. I have a whole video swatching this polish on my page. I'm only missing one shade from this bunch. 281 Barbados Blue, a light frosted blue. I can find it in the embossed bottle, but I'll only settle for an original. I think so many of these shades would work well together, especially some of the sheers over the pastels. The reason why there's likely no ad for this, and why it was released sandwiched between their official collections, is because Essie was reacting to the success of Hard Candy and Urban Decay with more unusual colors. There were so many firsts for Essie in this release, and it was to profit off of the shift in demand towards fun pastels and bold color. At some point, I'll do a video where I'll show you the individual colors that inspired this unofficial collection. Next up, we're going to look at the fall 1996 It's All at the Jewelers collection. 283 Asian Amethyst is a deep purple shimmer, their dupe for Chanel's Metallic Vamp. 284 Brassy Bronze is a bronze metallic. 285 Burma Ruby isn't what I would consider a ruby tone, but rather a garnet shimmer with a gold mica within. 286 Buy Me a Cameo is a frosty metallic beige with coppery sparks. This was around for a long time, but was discontinued in the US in the past couple years. 287 Canary Diamond is a champagne gold shimmer. You can't really see it here, but it has a slight green flash in the right lighting, though it's subtle. 288 Starling Silver is a silver metallic shimmer with a subtle pink flash. Next up, we'll be looking at the Winter of '96 collection. Unfortunately, I don't have an ad for it, so I don't know the theme. You're welcome to guess what it might be in the comments. 289 Fine Red Wine is a vampy dark red. This one needs some thinner, so it's possible that it might be a jelly. 290 Imported Champagne is a frosty champagne shimmer. 291 Lot of Latte is a cool-toned brown. I've also seen this with the name Latte Latte. This bottle is an Astoria bottle, so it's from between 1998 and 2000. The earliest might be the other name. 292 Plumberry is a raspberry creme with a silver frost. It reminds me of 183 Sour Grapes. 293 Prudence and the Prune is another deep red, a little less vampy than Fine Red Wine. 294 Tobacco Road is another vampy red, though this one has brown undertones. I would have preferred one of these to have been a vampy shimmer, but Fine Red Wine has got to be a jelly for them not to be duping themselves. And with this batch, we've filled yet another drawer. I didn't leave as much space in this one since I'm not missing too many from the 90s. I think what's left will fit perfectly in the next drawer, but we've earned another cat intermission. This is Yubi, Misha's blood brother. While Misha is a pizza delivery boy, Yubi is our trusted lawyer. He wears a dapper gray suit and spends most of his time in a cushy chair in the library, probably going over his legal briefs. If someone steals my content to repost, this is who drafts my DMCA forms and gets them out promptly. He also specializes in bird law. But seriously guys, if you have pets and you're not assigning them lore, then are you really an animal person? Let me know in the comments if your pets also have professions. We're about to head into our final segment, so grab a snack and get cozy. 295 Starry Starry Night was one of Essie's reactionary releases. This was released as a dupe for Chanel's Ciel de Nuit, a navy blue jelly with silver glitter. Here's the ad for the next few that are from the spring 1997 Let's Get Instrumental collection. 296 Bass Fiddle is a frosty mauve. 298 Piano is a bright pink creme with gold micro shimmer within. 299 Trombone is a bright red of the jelly persuasion. 300 Trumpet is a sheer shimmer inspired by the brassy nature of the instrument. For the summer of '97, I do not yet have the full-page ad, though it is within this ad, the collection being musical genre themed, with the bottles sitting on sheet music in this tiny ad. 302 Classical is a beautiful blue shimmer. This was re-released in 2016 as a Target exclusive, renamed as Classical Cliché. 303 Lullaby is a frosty white. In my opinion, they released way too many of these in the 80s and the 90s. 304 Jazz is a cool-toned taupe creme. 305 Opera is a really flattering frosty silver. For a silver, this would look great with most skin tones. 306 Pop is a beautiful, earthy, but bright orange creme. 307 Reggae is a pea green shimmer, notably also re-released in the 2016 Target exclusive, but renamed as Reggae and Rum. For the fall of 1997, the next batch, the colors are quintessentially autumnal. This is the Games People Play collection. 308 Backgammon Bronze is a shimmer brown with a subtle green shimmer. This was a blatant dupe of OPI's Grand Teton Topaz from the fall of '96. 309 Kino Topeo is a shimmer taupe with a silver flash. 310 Pachinko Pale is a light beige creme. 311 Rummy is a rusty brown creme. 312 Scribble Scrabble is a rich chocolate brown creme. And the last is 313 Tic Tac Dough, an orthopedic beige shoe colored creme. I hate it on me so much if you can't tell. I don't have the ad for the winter of '97 collection, but it seems to me it has a resort/casino theme. 314 Big Dipper is a delicate glitter topper. 315 Boca Ratand is a warm brown shimmer with copper sparks. 316 Chips No Potatoes is an off-white shimmer with a gold flash. 318 Hot Tamales is a bright warm red creme. 319 Sand of a Beach is a sandy beige shimmer with a pink flash. Now I had to edit in 317 Devil's Food since my cats knocked it out of order. It's a deep brown creme with a copper shimmer. I don't have the ad for the spring of '98, but it's possibly recital themed. 321 Dress Rehearsal is a nude beige frost. 322 Naked Truth is another nude beige, though this one's a creme. 324 Sweetie Pie is a subdued natural pink creme. And then the last I have from this collection is 325 Tea and Crumpets. It's a light beige metallic. From this bunch, we're only missing two other neutral shades, Prima Ballerina and Curtain Call. I don't have the ad for the next six, but to me, I see an old school nightclub theme. 326 is In the Mood, a vampy, ruddy brown shimmer. 327 is Gig Merlot, a wine red, I think it's a jelly. 328 Martini Cocoa is a deep brown metallic. 329 Soirée Mauve is a cool-toned taupe mauve. 330 Sway Date is a wine red creme. 331 Swing Velvet is a deep burgundy shimmer. I've been at this for weeks now, but we only have 2 more years of Essie history to go through. The next collection is the Winter of '98 Dance With Me collection. 332 is Cha Cha, a light brown creme. 333 is Charleston, a brown shimmer with a mauve flash. This is identical to OPI's Root Beer Float from the 1997 Route 66 collection. 334 Lambada is a brown shimmer with a red flash. This is also identical to an OPI original from the 97 Route 66 collection, Tulsa Tootsie Rolla. 335 Mambo is a frosty beige shimmer. The next bunch is from the spring of '99, the Bottles and Beans collection. 338 Antique Rose is a mauve shimmer with a coppery flash. 339 Kumquat is an orange creme with a gold flash. 340 Nutmeg is a frosted nutmeg brown. 341 Peach Cobbler is a peachy creme with a micro shimmer within. 342 Rose Bowl is a pink leaning red creme. And lastly, 343 Sea Breeze is a frosty mauve shimmer. For the summer of '99, Essie released the Summer Vacation collection. 344 Amalfi is a white shimmer with a dominant gold flash. 345 Cap Ferrat is a silver shimmer with copper sparks. 346 Capri is a bright orange-red coral. 347 Como is a peachy orange with a gold flash. This one likes to discolor to purple, as you can see with another Como I have here. 348 Fiji is a very light pink creme. 349 Seychelles is a sheer light nude beige. For the fall of 1999, we have the Essie Exchange collection. It has a stock exchange theme. 350 is Bonds Beige, a light frosty beige. 352 Max is a deep red jelly. 353 Munis Mauve is much like the shade Charleston, but less brown and more mauve. 354 is Options Pink, another pink that is a victim of fading. 355 T-Bill's Putty is a really nice grayish creme. Next is the Glaze Hers collection, released between fall and winter as a reaction to the glazes Chanel was releasing at the time. 356 is Apricot Fizz, a sheer orange glaze. 357 Burgundy Syrup is a sheer burgundy glaze. 359 Grape Crush is a sheer purple glaze. 360 Nightcap was originally blue, but any I've ever seen have morphed towards teal. 361 Raspberry Seltzer is a little lighter than Burgundy Syrup, but not too different. For the 1999 winter collection, we have the Essie Vineyard. I only have 2 of these in the original bottles. The first is 366 Vermouth, a mauve brown frost. And the last is 367 Vintage Wine, a jelly-like wine shade with gold shimmer within. For spring 2000, we have the All About Money collection. 368 A Lot of Shekels is a light pinky nude frost. 369 Dramatic Drachmas is a hot red jelly. 370 Exotic Liras is a raspberry creme with micro shimmer. 372 Glitzy Gilders is a metallic bronze. 373 Mucho Dinero is an icky beige creme. No me gusta. This sort of beige looks hideous on me. Next, we're looking at the Summer of 2000 Patty Cakes collection, a collection that is infamous for fading, if the ad is color accurate, that is. 375 Baby Cakes is a sheer lavender with a lilac flash. 376 Blueberry Crumb is a frosty blue shimmer. 377 Key Lime Pie is supposed to be a lime green, though it always morphs to blue. This is the least morphed bottle I've been able to find. 378 Pound Cake is a light beige creme. 379 Strawberry Shortcake is a frosty pink. For the fall of 2000, Essie reverted back to her red comfort zone with the French Fantasy collection. 380 Can Can is a red with micro shimmer. I think it might be a jelly. 381 Fishnet Stockings is a deep red jelly. 382 Follies is a rusty red with gold shimmer. 383 Innocent is a mauve with a lilac micro shimmer. 385 Ooh La La is a deep berry pink creme. And finally, we have the Winter 2000 Main Event Collection, the last collection with smooth, non-embossed bottles. 386 is Can't Film Fest, a cool-toned shimmer pink. 387 Final Answer is a metallic red with a gold shimmer flash. 389 Oscar Please is a pukey green shimmer. Essie, the person, said that this shade was her biggest flop, but that she released it to get it out of her system. 391 VIP is a deep eggplant purple shimmer, and it's her final bottle that bookends my vintage Essie collection. Since you've made it this far, we'll end with a cat finale. This is Umber, who goes by many names, like Umby Bumby, Bumber, Umbus Bumbus, Umby Bumblebeans, and so on. He doesn't have a profession because he's just a bum. We found him living in a bush as a kitten, covered in fleas. His ear mites were so bad that he now has permanent balance issues, so when he takes a fall, it's always right on his back. He's a food-motivated boy, so if you see scratches on my hands in videos, it's from this very activity. Let me know how you feel about my first attempt at long-form content. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. Also, if anyone has any old bottles that I might be missing, please reach out. I usually get them, as well as my magazines, from retired nail techs, so if you know of any, maybe put in a good word for me, wink wink. But thanks so much for watching.